Where do you want us to go and make preparations for you to eat the Passover? Came the question. So he sent 2 of his disciples, telling them, go into the city, and a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him. Say to the owner of the house he enters, the teacher asks, where is my guest room where I may eat the Passover with my disciples? And he will show you a large room upstairs, furnished and ready. Make preparations for us there. So the disciples left. They went into the city and they found things just as Jesus had told them, and they prepared the Passover. While they were eating, Jesus took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and he gave it to his disciples, saying, take it, this is my body. Then he took a cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them, and they all drank. This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many. We come together this evening that we might know truths which move into our awareness as we lift our spiritual eyes above intellectual understanding and expand our field of vision to include the wisdom of the soul. So let's open with a time of silent contemplation, preparing to do just that, preparing to lift our spiritual eyes above that intellectual understanding and to expand that field of vision to include the wisdom of soul. And so it is. This version of our tale is drawn from the Gospel as it's recorded by Mark, and while each of the synoptic Gospels offers something of a different version, common among all 3 is the body and the blood, the bread and the wine. So let's begin by considering that what Christians recognize to be the Last Supper in services around the world tonight, Jesus and his Jewish followers would have recognized to be a Passover meal. So yet again, in our desire to deepen our understanding of this Last Supper, and in our desire to deepen its meaning in our lives, we start by deepening our understanding of Passover. Now, what Jesus understood was that after 9 plagues, including water turning to blood, frogs overtaking the land, can you imagine? Rampant lice, galloping beasts, boils, hail, locusts, darkness, and before the 10th plague, which was to be the death of every firstborn in every household in Egypt, Pharaoh freed the Hebrew slaves, his ancestors, of course. And Jesus would have celebrated this emancipation as Passover. And please understand that for Jewish people, The celebration extends well beyond the emancipation of these Hebrew slaves. For Jewish people, it's completely appropriate to try to capture the essence of this emancipation and to apply its significance today. In other words, for Jewish people, it's completely appropriate to ask, and what does this mean to me? You see, I like to think that Jewish practices and unity practices enjoy some parallels. Many of us will join together to explore our own emancipation from what he termed the restrictive patterns of consciousness this Wednesday, in fact, in a ritual meal hosted by Rabbi Ted. Now, during the last meal before freedom, each family was to mark their doorposts with some of the blood from the Paschal lamb so that the angel of death would pass over those houses and spare the firstborn of each. So let's consider the possibility that for Jesus, the blood of the Paschal lamb might have symbolized something of a divine safety, something of a divine protection, or we might say that for Jesus, the blood of the lamb might have symbolized something of a divine love. And second, during the last meal before freedom, each family was to fuel their bodies with some of the meat from the lamb in preparation for the long journey ahead. So let's consider the possibility that for Jesus, the body of the lamb might have symbolized something of a divine sustenance, something of a divine provision. Or we might say that for Jesus, the body of the Paschal lamb symbolized something of divine life. I'd like to begin by suggesting that at this point in the tale, Jesus knew he would die. Understand that the imagery of separating the body from the blood is imagery that his people would have understood to represent a violent death. And in none of the gospel accounts did Jesus speak of the body and the blood together. First, he offered the bread as a symbol of the body. Then he offered the wine as a symbol of the blood. So what might Jesus have been trying to convey by effectively drawing a parallel between the Paschal lamb's role in the Passover meal and his role in a broader arena? What was he trying to tell his disciples? And by extension, what's he trying to tell us? And it's these questions that I will invite you to carry into our first ritual. And so it is that I'd like to welcome you to our Holy Thursday communion. Now, of course, during the first ritual, you are welcome to remain seated if you like. Otherwise, as the music begins, you may approach any pair of chaplains. There will be chaplains at this table, and there will be chaplains at this table. You'll be offered a piece of bread, gluten-free bread, of course, at which point the first chaplain will offer you words of blessing. Then you'll be instructed to dip the bread into the juice. Should I repeat that? Was that clear? You'll be instructed to dip the bread into the juice, at which point the second chaplain will offer you words of blessing. With the bread, you will be offered the following: take this as a symbol of the divine life, which is the enduring truth of your being. And then with the juice, you will be offered a second blessing. Take this as a symbol of the divine love, which is the enduring truth of your being. When the music begins, you'll be welcome to use the center aisles.
this wine in remembrance of me. Pray for the time when God's own will is done. In remembrance of me, heal the sick. In remembrance of me, feed the poor. In remembrance of me, open the door and let your brother in. Let him in. In remembrance of me, eat this bread. In remembrance of me, drink this wine. In remembrance of me, pray for the time when God's own will is done. In remembrance of me, heal the sick. In remembrance of me, feed the poor. In remembrance of me, open the door and let your brother in. Let him in. this wine in remembrance of me. Pray for the time when God's own will is done. In remembrance of me, heal the sick. In remembrance of me, feed the poor. In remembrance of me, open the door and let your brother in. Let him remembrance of me, eat this bread. In remembrance of me, drink this wine. In remembrance of
let us close with the wisdom of the Christ, such as another people know it to be. Eternal Spirit, source of all that is and that shall be, Father and Mother of us all, loving God, in whom is heaven. The holiness of your name echoes throughout the universe. The way of your justice be followed by the peoples of the world. Your heavenly wisdom be followed by all created beings. Your commonwealth of peace and freedom sustain our hope on earth. With the bread we need for today, feed us. In the hurts we absorb from one another, help us to forgive. In times of temptation and test, strengthen us. From trials too great to endure, spare us. From the grip of all that is evil, free us. For you are the power of the glory that is love, forever and ever. Amen.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory
And so while these synoptic gospels offer this imagery that's become so central to Christian celebration of the Lord's Supper, Eucharist, Mass, Communion, this is my body, this is my blood, the Gospel of John says nothing about this. Instead, the Gospel of John tells the story of Jesus washing the feet of his disciples. From the text, it was before the Passover festival. Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to leave this world and to go to the Father. The evening meal was in progress. Jesus knew that he had come from God and was returning to God, so he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. And after that, he poured water into a basin He began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with a towel. When he had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. "Do you understand what I've done for you?" he asked. "You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that's what I am." He continues, "Now that I, your Lord, your teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Very truly, I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. And now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them." So yet again, and even more decidedly, we can conclude that Jesus was aware of his imminent death. And understand that while the feet of guests would have been washed as part of tradition, it's not the host. And Jesus would have been the host. It's not the host who would have offered this service. So given this, when Jesus washed the feet of the disciples, it's to be treated as notable and significant for us as students. So again, what might Jesus have been trying to convey in the washing of his disciples' feet? What was he trying to tell his disciples? And by extension, yet again, what might he be trying to tell us? And again, I'll invite you to take these same questions into our second ritual. And of course, yet again, you are most welcome to remain seated if you prefer. Most spiritual traditions have used holy water at one time or another to bless, to heal, to purify, to heighten intuition, even to increase fertility. There are many rituals through which water becomes holy, and this evening's water was made so by Prayer Ministries director Barbara Thorpe. As only one part of her preparation, she placed a crystal purchased from the Buddha relic monks, a crystal inscribed with a Sanskrit water blessing. In closing, please know that this evening's water is infused with a high intention of good for each person and a high intention for good for our entire community. Reverend Nina and I will conclude your time with clean towels. They'll be clean. After which you'll be welcome to return to your seats. And the prayer chaplains will be first. Reverend Nina Clark.
give everybody a chance to sing a little bit here. Let's go down to the river, wash our feet and love each other. Let's go down to the river right now. Let's go down to the river, wash our feet and love each other. Let's go down to the river right now. One more. Let's go down to the river, wash our feet and love each other. Let's go down to the river right now. The river runs wild with no regrets, no time to waste, no time to fret. It can only see the ocean. It can only see the ocean. Here we go. Let's go down to the river, wash our feet and love each other. Let's go down to the river right now. When the Mississippi and the Ohio flow to the Gulf of Mexico, it's a journey filled with passion. Yes, it's a journey filled with passion. Well, let's go down to the river, wash our feet and love each other. Let's go down to the river right now. The riverbed might cut our feet, but the water won't let us bleed. No pain is everlasting. No pain is everlasting. Let's go down to the river, wash our feet and love each other. Let's go down to the river right now. Let's dive head first and not look back. Let the current unleash the past. Be it calm or be it raging. Be it calm or be it raging. Be it calm or be it raging. Let's go down to the river, wash our feet and love each other. Let's go down to the river right now. Let's go down to the river, wash our feet and love each other. Let's go down to the river right now. Oh, let's go down to the river, wash our feet and love each other. Let's go down to the river right now. Big slow ending. Let's go down to the river right now. Slide up now.
So in both rituals, I invited you to carry questions. Thank you. What was he trying to tell his disciples? And by extension, what might he have been trying to tell us? And I've done the same thing. And whether I consider Jesus offering himself as the new Paschal Lamb, so rich with the symbolism of divine love and divine life, or anointing his disciples for ministry, which is my chosen interpretation of the foot washing, I draw a similar conclusion. For both stories, different as they might be, I perceive a charge to his disciples to continue his work. In other words, we don't honor his life, his mission, his ministry simply by gathering in buildings such as this on holy days such as these, uttering rote words and performing prescribed rituals. Rather, we honor by accepting this charge to become the new disciples, if you will, anointed to carry forth his message of love, his message of life, and everything that such a message might mean to the family of earth.
Christ has no body now but yours, no hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes through which he looks, compassion on this world. Christ has no body now on earth but yours.
I think Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore offered a similar charge when he taught, and I do quote, that the life elements of the Christ were sown as seed in the soil of race mind, and that it's our privilege to appropriate and to incorporate these precious elements into our minds and into our bodies. End quote. I think Fillmore asks each of us to become the hands, to become the feet by cultivating that same Christ potential which Jesus demonstrated, that same Christ potential which resides within every human heart. And to that end, our chaplains will offer a meditation. It's drawn from the 12 powers of Christ and man. And following that meditation, and as the music begins, as Matthew begins to sing, we'll invite you to come forward with your individual candle. Did everyone get an individual candle? When Matthew starts to sing, we will invite you to come forward with your individual candle and to light it from whichever power speaks to you. They are labeled in the front. And following that, simply return to your seat with your candle. We will extinguish them together. Let's take a deep breath.
We light this candle for life. There is one life. This life is God's life. This life is my life. I am one with the infinite life of the universe, sustaining, inspiring, restoring. Today, I take positive steps to honor the great gift of life I have been given. I embody the consciousness of life.
We light this candle for elimination. The power of elimination continuously dissolves the debts of yesterday. Today I forgive self, others, and circumstances, setting all free in God's love. I release the past that I might step gratefully and boldly into the divine fullness of this day. I embody the consciousness of elimination.
So we light this candle for order. The power of order is the first principle of the universe. Today I put God first and my life unfolds in grace. In all matters I silently affirm divine order and free God's great plan to unfold in perfect ways. I embody the consciousness of order.
We light this candle for strength. The power of strength brings balance, endurance, tolerance, and ever new energy to my life. Today, I allow divine strength to surge through me, and I am renewed. I embody the consciousness of strength.
We light this candle for wisdom. The power of wisdom is ever present. Today, I take time to invite the highest frequencies of wisdom within me into my awareness. I invite, then I permit, align, and obey. I embody the consciousness of wisdom.
We light this candle for love. The grand power of love heals and harmonizes every aspect of life right now. Today, I surrender to love's ways, inviting love to go before me, guiding me in and through all affairs. And I accept the peace of this decision. I embody the consciousness of love. We light this candle for power. Power is discovered in the silence. Power is expressed through the word. Today I listen and receive guidance. Today I speak powerful words that prosper, bless, and heal. I embody the consciousness of power. We light this candle for zeal. The power of zeal thrusts me into the universe's highest purposes with enthusiasm and joy. Today, I feel God's mighty spirit as me, accomplishing miraculous works through me. I embody the consciousness of zeal.
We light this candle for faith. The power of faith lifts me beyond perceptions rooted in finite earthly limitation to those loosed into limitless divine possibility. Today, I invite faith to infuse my vision, revealing the perfectly divine patterns which unite all of creation. I embody the consciousness of faith.
We light this candle for understanding. The power of understanding assures me that divine activity is present and active in all circumstances and all people. Today, I enjoy the comforts and freedom that understanding grants. I embody the consciousness of understanding.
We light this candle for will. The power of will is the great permission giver of consciousness. Today I enroll will in support of my steadfast decision to say no to old self-defeating ways and yes to my greater good. I embody the consciousness of will.
We light this candle for imagination. The power of imagination reveals possibility beyond circumstance. Today, I give shape, color, and form to unformed energy through imagination. I see myself fulfilling divine potentials as I delight in beauty, love, and abundance. I embody the consciousness of imagination.
Within the silence, I heard a voice gently ask me to let go. Suddenly I knew I had a choice. me with all of your pain. And from that day, when you gave it all away, your life will never be the same. I have followed that voice the best that I could, and it's brought me graciously this far. I know this day my life will be as it should. The light of Christ in me will outshine every star. He said, come with me, give me all your guilt and fear. Trust me with all of your pain. And on that day, I gave it all away. My life has never been the same. So listen now, you know you can hear it too. Just stay still a little while. Just let God's voice sing a song of gratitude, and you will hear how much your Father loves his child. He says, come with me, give me all your doubt and fear. Trust me with all of your pain. And from that day, when you gave it all away, your life will never be the same. So listen now, you know you can hear it too. Just stay still a little while. Just let God's voice sing a song of gratitude, and you will hear how much your Father loves his child. He says, come with me, give me all your doubt and fear. it's on that day when we all give it away. Our light will glorify God's name.
So we came together this evening that we might know truths. Truths which move into our awareness as we lift our spiritual eyes above intellectual understanding and expand our field of vision to include the wisdom of soul. And this night is our charge, then, to become the living embodiment of those truths. And we have heard that charge. And we've accepted that charge. So it is. And so it is. And so it is. Thank you. Stay as long as you like, please.